Hey there, it's great to see you back here at Tim Talks Cooking. Today we are talking low-carb keto tortillas. That's right, we're getting ready to make some Mexican food here, and it's kind of a part of our bread replacement series. I'm going to be making some tortillas today, so let's get started. Here's what you'll need to make these great tortillas. I'm going to start off with a cup of almond meal or almond flour. This is unbleached. If you want to use bleached, that's just fine. Go ahead and use whatever kind of almond flour you have. 2.5 tablespoons of coconut flour. Here I've got 2 teaspoons of xanthan gum. I've got a teaspoon of baking powder, and I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt in there. You're also going to want 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, as well as one large egg, and 3 tablespoons of water. I'm going to use my food processor to mix these ingredients together. You of course could use your food processor. I think a blender would work. Your hand mixer would work. A stand mixer would also work. I think this is just an easy way to do it. If you use something besides your food processor though, I think you should probably sift your almond flour, because as you can see, mine has some lumps in it. We're going to take care of that in just a minute. Here's my cup of almond flour, 2.5 tablespoons of coconut flour. I'm going to put all the dry ingredients in here. I've got the baking powder, the xanthan gum, the salt. Get the lid on there, give it a blend. That's going to knock those chunks right out, those lumps of almond flour. This is going to blend everything together really smoothly. Give it a whir so it's well combined for when we add our liquid ingredients. And what we're going to do first, while our food processor is running, I'm going to add my 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. In goes the egg. You could beat that first. I think the food processor doesn't really matter. And then we've got our 3 tablespoons of water, and it goes. And that's going to form a little ball, as you can see it doing right there in my food processor. Now I'm going to let that rest for 5 minutes while the coconut flour and the almond flour absorb the liquids in there, and we'll get back to this in just a second. Okay, I've removed the dough from the food processor. It's really sticky and wet at first. We need to actually blend the ingredients a little bit more, so I'm going to wrap it in plastic wrap. Maybe there's no need to be quite this neat about it. There we go. I'm going to put that, and I'm going to actually just take this, and I'm going to squeeze it between my hands. I'm going to do this, I don't know, 20 or 30 times. So we've got everything really nice and blended well together in there. See, if you do this without the plastic, it's very sticky. It's going to stick to your hands. The coconut flour and the almond flour continue to absorb the liquid here. I don't know, are you counting? I kind of lost count there. I'm just going to keep doing it for a little while. And this is really just to make sure we get all the ingredients blended together well. That xanthan gum it's called gum for a reason. We want to make sure we get that distributed well throughout. Now I'm going to leave this wrapped up here again for 10 more minutes. And then we're going to roll it out and make tortillas out of it. Okay, it's now been 10 minutes. And I'm going to unwrap this, and you'll see it's kind of transformed from the last time. When you do this yourself, it's very worrisome because it's sticky and very wet, and you think, oh, it's never going to turn into dough, but it does. And here you got the proof of that. Nice smooth ball of dough. It's about the size of a baseball. Roll it around. Notice it doesn't stick to my hands at all. Now, I'm going to be making quesadillas with this, so I need some pretty large size tortillas. I'm going to start by cutting this in half for that. I'm going to set this one aside, and this one I'm going to roll back into a nice ball shape. I'm going to see if I can get this into a nice one of those great big plate-sized tortillas. And so here we go. I'm going to take the other sheet of parchment paper, roll that on top, give her a pat. Then of course get out the rolling pin. And in the end, I want this to end up being about 1/8 of an inch thick or so. We'll see how we do. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know what we're looking for here. We're looking for a nice thin tortilla that we can fold over and make the traditional shape for a quesadilla. We want to roll it out as evenly as possible. You can see, for example, right here, I've got like a little well in it. Now, when you have that, and you want to make it even, get back in there, fold it over. This is a very forgiving dough, and just roll right over it and keep going. Okay? I'm going to continue rolling this out until it's more or less of a circular shape, and I'll show you how I cut it to make it nice and perfectly circular. Okay, I'm done rolling this out, and what I'm going to do here is just simply peel this back carefully. You see it really turns out to be a nice shaped tortilla. Now, actually, you know, to tell you the truth, if I weren't serving this to guests, I really wouldn't care that it's a little bit lopsided. I want to make it a little prettier here, so I'm going to show you how to cut this. Okay, to make it perfectly round, I'm just going to put this saucer on top of it. Simply cut around it with a butter knife. Notice I'm not using any of the teeth or anything. I don't want to cut into my board here. Then we're just going to remove the excess, which we can actually roll back into our dough ball and use again here. And say a little prayer. Please don't stick to my plate. There we go. And there we have a very nice, very circular tortilla. So what we end up with here are 2 large 8-inch tortillas and 1 small 6-inch tortilla. That's really not too bad. If you want to make, of course you can make these any shape, any size that you like for your dishes. Like I said, I'm making quesadillas, so I want these big ones. I'll cook this one up too and save it for later. Okay, now the key to getting these just right is to not overcook them, but to cook them over very high heat. This skillet has been heating up for quite a while and it's really very, very hot. I'm going to take my tortilla. Here we go. I'm going to flip it right on in there. We want this to cook in less than a minute. Get it in there. Got to be kind of bold with it. Carefully remove the parchment paper as quickly as you can. This is a non-stick skillet, and you definitely want to use non-stick for this. You see how easily it moves around in there? That's really lovely. If you were using a stainless steel skillet, this is probably going to stick pretty hard to the bottom of it. You never get it out. I'm going to let that go for, say up to about 30 seconds or so. Coconut flour actually tends to brown very dark and burn easily, so we really don't want to exaggerate with that. And you can see it's starting to bubble up here and there. That's just what we want. Here's the other thing. Use all your senses when you cook. I can start to smell the coconut flour cooking there, and so now it's time to flip this. Oops, and there we go. Now look, if this happens to you, pick it up, stick it right on in there. No problem, right? All right, I wanted to be fancy and do a really great chef's flip, but there you go. See how that's nicely browned here and there? And it's nice and soft to the touch. Now it's hot, so I don't want to exaggerate here, but this cooks quickly. And there we go. I can do a chef's flip. You can see that's nice. We got a little color there. We're done, and we're on to the next one. Now, before we have a little taste of these, and we are going to taste them, I just want you to get a nice, good look close up at these little Mama John's. Look at that. That is a gorgeous little tortilla. It smells fantastic too, I gotta say. And see how pliable it is. This would be great. So you could really roll that up. Very nice. Well, maybe roll it up the other way if you want it to be pretty. Got a little crease in it. That's all right. Right? But nice. And the, oops, and I've torn it a little bit. That's all right. I'm going to taste that one. See these others? Perfectly fine. These are going to be great for my quesadillas later on. Now, it's time to give this a taste. Well, all right, let's give this a taste. Here, I'm just going to tear off a little piece. Oh, it's very nice. It actually has kind of the layers there. Well, that's a tortilla, all right. Not really much flavor, but it's got a little bit of flavor. Actually, kind of nice taste, sort of like a whole wheat tortilla. And here's the major thing. The texture is just perfect. It's just like, for me anyway, to my palate, it's just like a flour tortilla that you buy in the grocery store, that you get in a Mexican restaurant. Anyway, I really hope you'll try these, and also that you'll subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff before you go. And listen, thanks so much for joining us today here on Tim Talks. We'll catch you next time.